All right, it is 6:35, so I think we'll officially kick things off to get started. So thank you everyone for joining tonight. My name is Bethany Single. I'm the volunteer engagement coordinator. So I'm so happy to have you all here. This is our first Flock Talk. It is our volunteers only webinar series that we're hoping to have more of. This one is our Prepare to Fledge. The theme of this one is just to get any new volunteers or even veteran volunteers up to speed or up to date on what the Indiana Audubon Society is, what you should know about the IAS, what you can look forward to as you start to volunteer with us, and give you the opportunity to ask any questions as you start volunteering and what you should expect. So here is our agenda for this evening. We'll do a quick welcome. We'll talk a little bit more about IAS and what we're all about. Hopefully one of our veteran volunteers will be able to hop on tonight and we can do a quick interview with her and she can talk to you about her experiences. And then we'll talk to you more about how to get involved and upcoming opportunities. And then at the end, we'll have the opportunity for some Q&A. So I'm going to pass things over to Brad. He's our executive director, and he'll talk to you about our flock.
Yeah, let me kind of introduce the growing Indiana Audubon flock and kind of talk a little bit about who we are, our history, kind of our mission, what we are all about. And there's a lot of folks that are continuing to join our flock or join that spark as we speak as well. And within Indiana Audubon, we've been able to grow in the last few years, and we have currently 4 full-time paid staff that work across the state. And that's one of the things that just really always impresses me of Indiana Audubon compared to kind of other organizations, other similar birding organizations, is that we really are, for a statewide organization, we're on the ground. We have boots on the ground doing programs and projects all over the place. And our flagship property, of course, is Mary Gray Bird Sanctuary, where Libby Keys, and Mary Gray operations manager, operates with Alex, our sanctuary land steward, all things Mary Gray, from the land steward to the resource management to the events to the just the amazing history that I'll talk about here briefly. And then larger Indiana Audubon operations and programs you've seen done just by a couple other staff members, myself and our communications and outreach manager, who you typically might see on a virtual night, Whitney Yorger. And in addition to that, there's a number of contracted staff that help us out. In addition to Bethany, we have Sarah Barnes, our Project Owlnet coordinator, Savannah, our field trips and marshland bird programs coordinator, and many folks know Sam Warren as well with the Indiana Dunes Birding Festival. And so there's a lot of folks that are working behind the scenes that helps out with all the different programs that we have going on with Indiana Audubon. Bethany?
All right, this is a poll just so we can have a little bit of engagement from all of you. So we want to know what your spark bird is. Your spark bird is the bird that got you interested in birding. What bird got you excited about birds? So there are a couple ways that you can participate in this poll. You can do it over the web by going to the pollev.com/Bethany single but without the E and responding there. You can do it by text, or you can scan this QR code and you can respond there. And I have a dog joining me now. This is Boba. So let us know what your spark bird is, and then we'll share the results. And Brad, you have to participate too, because we want to know what your spark bird is.
I've already put 3 in.
3 in.
And I'm gonna put it to the responses, but the information will still be up here at the top, so you can still respond.
I've talked to a lot of folks over the years and talked with them as spark birds, and not just spark birds, but spark experiences. A lot of times, they may not be able to kind of pick out a specific bird, but they remember a moment, or they may just remember a general bird, or they remember, mom liked her hummingbirds. And one of the themes I've had in a lot of programs is as you're seeing populate here is it's a lot of birds. It's never like, everyone gravitates towards like the owls or the hummingbirds. It's all these individual different birds.
Yep. The funny thing about this word cloud is it's separating. So northern flicker is, at the top and the bottom. Common loon is separating too, but I think we can figure it out. So we've got eastern bluebird, and we've got barred owls, and we got the osprey. All beautiful. So if you have any of these birds in common with somebody else on the call, that could be a great thing to connect with a fellow volunteer on. Does anybody want to share their spark bird story or their spark birding story? How you got into birds? You don't have to. But if you would like to, we would love to hear it. Mine is the northern flicker. I've loved birds my whole life, but I moved to Indiana about 8 years ago now. Yes, 7 years ago now. And looked out my window one day and my dad said, "Hey, that is a red-bellied woodpecker." And I said, "No, it's not." I said, "What is that?" And I looked it up and it was a northern flicker and it was beautiful. I love the polka dots, the yellow tail, the little black under the chin that kind of makes it look a little fancier. And I just said, that is just a cool looking bird. And then I felt like I just needed to know more and more and more about birds so then I could tell my dad when he was wrong about identifying birds, but also just dive into it a little bit more. So that was my real spark. That was when I stopped just, looking at birds out the window and occasionally seeing one at the feeder and saying, "Oh, that's cute," and really started diving into learning more about birds. So that was my spark. And my dad still tries to confuse a red-bellied woodpecker for a northern flicker, and I think that is hilarious.
How can he do that?
I know.
They don't look nothing alike.
I know. Which
I love the cardinal because it's bright, bright red. You can't mistake it for anything else. You can spot it easily, even without your glasses on.
Yeah. There is no mistaking a cardinal.
Yes. And they love to come to my sunflower feeders.
Oh, yes. I bet they do. They love those sunflowers.
I remember when I was starting as a seasonal naturalist over at Waukegan State Park. I had worked there for just the first month or so, and into the nature center walks in a post office lady, and she's, you can see out there the post office truck out in the parking lot, and she's got one of those white delivery bins that they store all the mail. And she comes walking in, she goes, "Look, I found this in the road." And you look in, and it's a dinky little baby barred owl. And the barred owl's about maybe 7 inches tall. It's got baby blue eyes. And there had been a storm the night before. And she describes and shows on a map where she found this bird. And as you look on the county map, it's just open ag area, and there's like a wood lot maybe a quarter mile away, but it was just kind of cornfields in all directions. So we had an option of kind of getting it to the rehabber, which we planned on doing the next day, but we thought maybe there's a chance the storm out there that mom and dad's still around. And so I took this baby barred owl that doesn't hoot yet. It was sipping. It was sounds. And I took it around. It was like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I'm out there driving up and down these roads for about 2 hours trying to you get out there and you try to call the barn owl and see if anything responds, and obviously nothing was. And finally, closer to sunset, around 8 p.m., we had finally, I got to a spot and I finally got this call back, and there were the owls. And it was about no more than a half a mile from where her pen had been. And so then I pulled out this baby barred owl and I start walking, as the sun's setting across this cornfield that was this year, actually that year had been unplanted and it was just kind of green growth in it. And there was kind of some stubble then that kind of created this like mound about 100 yards from the forest edge. And that's where I heard a sound from a barred owl that I'd never heard before, and just watching this interaction. And it was like this and these crazy vocalizations I'd never heard. And definitely she had recognized who it was. And I left it there and walked away back towards the car. And in the growing darkness, I could see them kind of flying in there. And for some reason, just I always remember that kind of interaction with them. And so I always consider barred owls to be kind of one of my, I said three spark birds that I have is because of that.
That's really cool.
Kind of real fitting to Harry Potter too, that the mailman brought the owl.
I like that.
Absolutely. Does anybody else want to share?
Mine was, I texted it, but it said it didn't recognize the word indigo. But this, I just started watching birds this winter. And then when the indigo buntings came in the spring, I looked outside and I literally gasped. I was like, oh, what is that bird? And I looked it up and they were so like beautifully brilliant blue and
Yeah, they're gorgeous. They glow. They're so, yep. I remember seeing my first indigo bunting at the river where I like to take my kids. It was the prettiest thing. That's a good spark bird. And thanks for sharing, everybody. And we are excited that the birds have sparked your interest and that you are here. And we hope that you have more sparks, because I think that you can continue to have sparks with your birds. All right, Brad, you ready?
Okay. Where's the other
Oh,
one?
I went too far. It's jumping.
There it is.
Oh,
Okay, hold on. Technology is occasionally my friend. Nope. And occasionally not. So we're
Beauty.
going to,
sweetheart.
It is, isn't it?
Look at that. Those
Yeah, 'cause
beautiful
you never-
eyes.
I'm
You
gonna
never have to
blame
see it.
Brad for messing with my slideshow.
Oh, because it's pasted into there.
Okay,
Hey, we're looking at it right there, right? We can see it.
yep, it's right here.
And then we'll
Look
jump
at
to
this
the other
little
one.
guy right here.
Yeah,
while
look
Brad
at that.
talks.
You see security, you don't meet the jerks that they occasionally get after many years of banding, but just what is Indiana Audubon? And I just wanted to pick out two birds, and you know what, there's 423 birds in Indiana. I could have picked any one of those and explained there why Indiana Audubon's here. And you're going to see the mission statement here in a minute that we can read word for word off the screen, that we engage in conservation, education, and research and communities. But the shorthand of it is we help people fall in love with birds. And occasionally we protect the places that these birds are found, and that's it. And that's just kind of the heart of it. And so there's 423 birds, and a lot of them have great stories, and a lot of folks connect with them. Project Elnet, it occurs all over the state. We have a couple stations, both Mary Gray and the Indiana Dunes, and this program alone, which in the Indiana Dunes area has been going on for 16 years. And almost like 1,000 saw-whet owls have been tracked as they learn the research. There's been plenty of research articles that have come out, and then more importantly, just the education and outreach that occurs is all because of volunteers. And as we help people fall in love with birds, last year alone, 1,500 hours of volunteer time came in just in that pursuit through the research, conservation, and the education that they give to saw-whet owls. And then the other bird, There you go. Does anyone know what bird that is? What is it, Bethany?
It's a common nighthawk.
Yeah. Uh, here's a bird that a lot of folks maybe don't know as much. And so our mission work in helping people fall in love with birds includes the secretive, includes the vanishing, and in the case of the quality of this photo, the blurs that we're just kind of on the peripheral of kind of learning what they are so that we can better understand and help protect them. And so there's so many different stories that we are monitoring all sorts of different birds and discovering new ways that there's just it's just so complicated. You think you spend your time on birds. Roger Tory Peterson said it takes you 10 years to learn your fall warblers, and one thing that we've learned between that and everything else in birds is that he was probably a liar. It takes a lot longer than that. Yeah, I've been going on it for 30 years and still don't know my fall warblers, and there's so many stories on all these different birds that we have to learn. And so that's one of the reasons that Indiana Audubon is here. And so that exact mission isn't we help people fall in love with birds. The exact mission is, I think I got it on the next slide. There you go. I can even read it. Mission: engage communities. Again, enjoyment in birds and their habitats through conservation, education, and research. That screams we help people fall in love with birds. And we've been doing that longer than most organizations have. In fact, we are the fourth oldest Audubon in the country, 1898. That predates National Audubon. National Audubon, and you probably know they were established over the big uproar over the egret plumes that were in the hats in New York City in 1905. And then even right here in Indiana, just shows Hoosiers' dedication to the bird conservation and connections with them, as we are the oldest conservation organization continually operating today in Indiana. So just shows the link that and just the dedication of so many folks for birds. And we have our own history tied to our Marygrave Bird Sanctuary. Good chance if you're an Audubon member, you've probably been there, our flagship property just an hour east of Indianapolis. And really, the whole creation of this property goes back to its very uses today. And Marygrave is a place that you can hear bird song. If you want to just be awoken at 4:30 in the morning right now there and camp out, this is a place to do it. You're going to hear lots of birds there. And this is something that the Grays discovered was all that bird song. It was a place for rest and relaxation. It was a place to honor the memory of their daughter who'd passed. And today we see people come, whether it be for the same memories they have for their own family members that they're grieving for, or senior photos as they start the next generation. So it's a place locally and then regionally for all sorts of activities. And then just the natural resources, the resource management you see of the bird species and natural habitats, and then special events as we celebrate that. And so if you haven't been to Marygrave, it's definitely worth visiting. It's one of the top sites on the Indiana Birding Trail. So there's so many different reasons that you could visit Marygrave Bird Sanctuary. And there's a photo you can see up in the corner of one of our premier facilities there, the Markle Barn, which hosts a lot of programs, and you'll be able to take part in a lot of activities at the Hummingbird Migration Celebration if you're there on August 9th. And what is it that we do? And so if you're a volunteer, those three tiers that we talked about, the research, the education and outreach, and the conservation, and they really kind of anchor what we do. It makes us a boots on the ground organization for a statewide organization. So we're able to do a lot of different projects and everything from owls, like Project Owl Night, we talked about, we're 1,500 volunteer hours last year. We have folks that are out there chasing wood thrush right now, helping us tag them. We have marsh bird sleuthers that are discovering where those secretive rails and bitterns are. And we have volunteers that are also recording. And so there's so many avenues that volunteers are recording hours just in the avenues of research. And that's what makes birds so unique as a science topic, is that you're not going to find a taxa in science that has so many volunteers that are just citizen scientists that are providing the real data that scientists are using to solve these kind of real life problems that birds are facing. And so very few topics can I think of where the bulk of the data is coming from you and I just out there in the field. And so we have so many avenues from direct research to citizen science research, and then we're doing that. But the education and outreach is I think always been stellar with Indiana Audubon, and just all the different opportunities that you have around the state to attend different programs, workshops, and then of course our major events being the Indiana Dunes Birding Festival and the Hummingbird Migration Celebration. So and those are critical. Volunteers are the backbone of what makes this happen. And so hundreds of hours goes into the Dunes Birding Festival, and similar at the Hummingbird Migration Celebration, where upwards of 500 people are going to get ready to come down to Mary Gray here in the next month. And then finally, of course, the conservation stewardship. Think of Mary Gray Bird Sanctuary. There's lots of things from invasive removal, trail days that are out there, these different work days, that we can get out there and do activities. If you're a firebug, there's opportunities to set fire to the prairies. And so all these things are benefiting birds. And so, they all go back to that mission: is we help people fall in love with birds. And so these are activities that we do that both help birds and to help people connect with them as well. So it's really worth seeing just the whole breadth of everything that's done, because in one of these individual activities or programs you may learn about, but you may not hear about them all going on if it's maybe not something that's specialized to you, or even just today, as the algorithms on social media, you may not learn about something. So many different things, and just you need to go to the Indiana Audubon site. In the chat, you were linked a list of some of these different initiatives and programs, just to see the full idea of everything we do, and maybe to generate some ideas of, hey, I can actually help out, volunteer doing these types of things too.
Absolutely. Thanks, Fred. All right. So Shari is here with us. She is one of our veteran volunteers. She has been working with the Indiana Audubon Society for a long time. So we're going to have a quick chat with her so she can talk to you all about her experiences with us, and just give you some more information about what it's like to volunteer with the Indiana Audubon Society. So, Shari.
Yes, ma'am.
There you are. Hi.
Hello.
Nice to see you. So, to get us started, I put the questions on here, but we'll keep it conversational.
Nice to see you as well.
Thank you. So to kick us off, what inspired you to volunteer with the Indiana Audubon Society?
Well, really it started basically with a connection with a friend of mine.
I think we lost.
Was
Oh, we lost you, Shari.
Started with a hummingbird, believe it or not. I had hang on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay, hold on. Let me go in. I'm sorry. So basically, it started as just connection with a friend that was involved with Indiana Audubon, and then I had a hummingbird that ended up in my backyard called a Rufus hummingbird, and I had called and talked to her about the hummingbird, and that's really kind of how I got involved with just Indiana Audubon in general. And then over time, I think you just get kind of jump in, and you start with maybe something simple as showing up for a work day or something like that. You meet more people, and then you get involved with more projects and things like that. So but yeah, kind of started just real simple, and I didn't even really know that much about birds. But then that one little connection with her got me involved with Indiana Audubon. So this is my 9th year on the board. But and it's just been fantastic. I mean, it's been so much fun. I have learned so much. I started out with what I would call as kind of like a baby bird, little tiny little nestling just coming out of the egg. And then, kind of grown over time. Sorry, that's my dog barking in the background for her treat. I'm sorry, let me close the door. But anyway, yeah, I mean, and then just kind of, started out as a board member, and then I worked my way up to vice president. And I cannot tell you how much fun and how many memories I've made over the last 9 years, not just with activities, but people. And, connecting with other people, like-minded people who love birds. And it can be a simple conversation of just talking to somebody about something simple, like, what kind of bird seed do you feed your birds, or whatever. And next thing you know, it turns out to this. Then I have a segue, of course, to talk about Indiana Audubon, talk about birds. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, there's so many opportunities to give back. And like Brad was saying, the bottom line is what we do. I always say we work for the birds, right? I mean, that's what
Mhm.
we do. Um, so it's just, and it's never I don't ever feel like it's a job. I feel like it's an opportunity to do something wonderful for the birds and connect with other people as well. Um, and I also think that, you know, um, the volunteering part just kind of is, it kind of goes along with, just the gauntlet of just being involved with people in, like I said, field trips. And
Mhm.
even like our celebrations, our get-togethers, the Dunes Festival, Birding Festival, the hummingbird migration celebration, and many other things. It brings people together. And that's what I love about those types of things when we have that offer Indiana Audubon offers, is that you just, those kind of places just make me so happy, because you see so many people that are together that are there for the same reason, because they love birds, right? And
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, I've been I've done so many things, and field trip leader, and led different programs and just things like that. So I've just enjoyed it so much. And I'm coming to the end of my time with Indiana Audubon, as far as I've kind of tapped myself out as far as being on the board and vice president, but I'm always going to be around and always want to give my time and offer what I can. And I was going to say too is that everybody has something to give. You don't have to be a certain something. There's always some place
Mm.
that you can fit. So like, I personally love to give my talents, as far as like painting and things like that, offering those types of things for like our auctions that we do to help earn money.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, you can, so many people can, I mean, you can find anything to do. We can use you and use your help. But yeah,
Absolutely.
sorry, I'm rambling,
No,
but
that's perfect.
but yeah, I mean, Indiana Audubon is awesome. And I love it so much, and I am really proud to be a part of it. And I've watched the organization grow over the 9 years I've been with Indiana Audubon. And I cannot believe how far we've come, and all the wonderful things that we're doing for the birds, and the outreach we have, just helping people connect with birds, and then reminding us about how important it is about our conservation and habitat
Mhm.
for our birds too.
Yep.
So that's another thing that, when you always have that little connection with people, and you're always reminding them about these little things, sometimes you can have that spark for people that say, well, I have like, this pasture I'm not doing anything with, maybe I'll turn that into grasslands for birds.
Mhm.
So there's lots of things that you can do for birds, so anyway, I really
Yeah,
went really long on that question.
that's okay. And you helped answer a lot of the other questions in there too. But that's perfect. Do you have a favorite memory, something that stands out of one of your volunteering experiences?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Um, I would say some of the most, I guess, memorable times is a friend of mine. We co-lead Sam Warren. We co-lead a trip to Saxon Bog. So we go up there for 3 days, and we go to the North Woods, and we see all these amazing birds that we don't see down here.
Ooh.
And I would say probably one of the this is a recent memory too, was just we were doing really well with our target species, finding lots of birds, but we really wanted the boreal owl. That was the one bird that we were just so bad. We wanted this boreal owl, and it had been kind of seen, that was an eruption year, so they'd been around, but it was like the last day, sun was going down, and we're like, okay, somebody saw one, and like everybody goes crazy, like, oh my gosh, so we're sitting there, and we were trying to make a decision. Do we go try to find something else, or do we just go sit and wait? Because it actually flew off where people weren't seeing it. So we
Mhm.
sat, we parked, and everybody was kind of like looking around. And next thing you know, the owl was literally parked like 15 feet behind my car. So we all got out, and we were like freaking out, and we're like trying to be quiet because you got to be quiet for the birds. But that was the icing on the cake, was just that bird was just sitting in the tree, just perched, like, hey, what's up? Like, what are you guys getting, looking at? It didn't even like, wasn't phased at all. But what a wonderful experience for our
So cool.
the people that went on that trip. That was the last bird that we got on the trip, and it was the icing on the cake, the cream of the
Yeah.
crop. So, but yeah, I mean, there's so many amazing memories. Even banding, I've helped a lot with banding demos over the years.
Mhm.
And like, I remember one time at the Dunes Festival, we caught a Connecticut warbler, and that was really cool for all the people that got to see it. And then just walking up to the net and seeing this crazy, amazing bird in the net. And then being able to share that excitement with all the participants is really fun. And
Mhm.
that's what I also really love about banding, is because that directly connects people with birds. They get to see them up close. They get to watch the whole experience of, like, and then they get to hear about how important it is with research, right? That's why
Mhm.
we ban birds. That's why we put those little bracelets on there, so we can help track them and know, like, are they doing well? Are they not doing well? That's why we do those things. But anyway, that was two really fun memories while I was volunteering. So I'm rambling
Absolutely.
again.
No, that's great. We love to hear it. So I think it's fair to say something that keeps you coming back to volunteering with the Indiana Audubon is the experiences that you get to have, and the experiences that you're sharing with the other people that you're with. And I know your time with the board is coming to an end, but what's going to keep you coming back after that?
Because I am so connected to the birds themselves.
Mhm.
So, and I know when I see the things that Indiana Audubon's doing for birds, that always will keep me coming back, because you can directly see in this programming that they do that it's making a difference for birds. And that's what will always keep me connected to Indiana Audubon. Um, because I don't look at it like, I look at it more like, I love the fact that we make a difference. You know what I mean? That's the connection
Yeah.
for me, is that direct connection, knowing that what we do makes a difference for birds. So that always will keep me connected, because I love birds. I love birds. So
Absolutely. So, is there a piece of advice or wisdom that you can pass on to our new volunteers or any veteran volunteers that are with us today?
um wisdom, I would just say, like, take advantage of every opportunity that you have with Indiana Audubon. Spread your wings a little bit, try new things. Don't be afraid to jump in something you may not be comfortable with. And I just think a great way to, like I said, connect with like-minded people too. And just remember that collectively, everything the volunteers do make a difference. So it's not like, we might have a little group of somebody doing this and a little group of somebody doing that, but collectively, that's what makes a difference, is that, those volunteer experiences. And we're, like I said, we work for the birds, right? That's what we do.
Mhm.
And it's with everything, like pulling what the weed wrangles and that we're making a difference there. So, it's not just like one thing. And I would, like I said, I would encourage people to, you know, just make connections, get out there, and remember, everything you do is making a difference for the birds. So, and that's what we do.
Yeah, there's no job too small. Everything is helpful because this organization relies on our volunteers. We need you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that I've seen the volunteer ism grow over the years. I think that is something that's wonderful to see, because it's just it's just, I believe too, is the outreach part of it, is letting people know that we do need volunteers. We do
Mhm.
need you to help. Um, and then just putting those feelers out there. And like I said, some people might find a niche, something they really love and enjoy doing. Um, but there's nothing that is too small when it comes to
Yeah,
volunteering. So
absolutely.
yeah, and
Okay.
I've loved it. I've never thought of it as a job or something I have to do. It's something I've always wanted to do. And I am proud to be one of those. I'm proud to be a Indiana Audubon member, but I'm also proud to be one of those people that tirelessly works for birds. I don't ever think it's a problem. I don't find it taxing or boring. There's always something fun about birds to me.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. Well,
yeah.
thank you so much, Sherry. It's been
Yeah.
wonderful hearing about your experiences, and I think I speak for all of us that it inspired me. It makes me want to go out and do more.
Oh, yes. And there is so much to do. And like I said, without the volunteers, we definitely we need you to help. So, and like I said, just remember what you're working for. The bottom line is you're working for the birds, right?
Yep.
So they
And the
need
more you do
us.
it, you'll see
They
more
need
birds.
us.
The more you do it, the more birds you get to see. So that's your reward.
Yes, absolutely. And I actually have a barn swallow that's decided to build a nest right above my bedroom window. So it's like, I love it. I mean, I don't mind if she's
Cool.
there, but
Yeah.
I love it. So I always feel like those kind of little things is kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, I know you appreciate me, so I'm going to let you see like this
Yep.
wonderful experience.
How cool.
Um, but yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. And,
Yeah.
like I said, it's been a pleasure serving Indiana Audubon. And I told Brad before, I mean, I'm not going anywhere. So,
Well,
even though
good.
I'm not on the board, I'm always going to be around helping and volunteering for Indiana Audubon.
Good. We will
Yeah.
keep you as long as we can.
Well,
Thanks so
good.
much. Thanks so
Yeah,
much, Sherry.
absolutely. Thank you.
All right. So next, how to stay informed. As you are a volunteer with the Indiana Audubon, here are some ways that you can make sure you are informed. We send out a monthly volunteer newsletter, so make sure you're checking your inboxes for that. There's also the weekly Indiana Audubon newsletter that comes out, so check that. You might see opportunities in there. If you are an Instagram person, the Indiana Audubon Society Instagram is a great place to look for just information about the Indiana Audubon Society or information about birds or any of that. And then there might also be pop-up opportunities for helping out at the Mary Gray Bird Sanctuary posted on their Facebook site. So make sure if you are a Facebook person, that you are checking the Facebook site as well. And we'll try to communicate the pop-up opportunities in other ways as well if you are not a Facebook person. So, and then the website is always a great place to look. So those are your ways to stay informed. Make sure you're checking that. And then upcoming opportunities. If you have not already signed up to help us with the hummingbird migration celebration, August 8th, we have cleaning up and setting up duties that we need assistance with. So we would love to have you there to help us with that. And then the actual celebration is on August 9th. We do still need some help with that. Remember, there is no job too small. So we do still need help with registration, trash help, just traffic control, having people tell people where to go with the trolley or the, what do we call it, Brad? The guy who drives the truck. Is it a trolley?
I was gonna say we call it reckless. No, it's a shuttle.
Shuttle. There's the word. Wow. Okay, shuttle. So there's no job too small. So we can use your help in all of those places. Please reach out to me if you are able and willing to help. We will get you signed up for that. We are also doing a bird walk at the Spring Mill State Park on September 26th. So we need a leader for that as well, I believe. And then, as I said, pop-up opportunities at Mary Gray. So that would be work days, trail cleanup, that sort of thing. So keep an eye out for that kind of stuff. We'll try to communicate that on Facebook, in the newsletter, and anywhere else. So, but the main one being the hummingbird migration celebration, which is coming up in less than a month. So let me know if you can help and we'll go from there. So ready for questions. So make sure you write down, yep, there we go. Make sure you write down my email. It's volunteer@indianaaudubon.org. My name is Bethany again. Please email me if you ever have a question or if you would like to volunteer for something and you don't know what, or you don't know how to get started. I am your main go-to person, but you can also bug Brad if you really want to. Check out our website. There's information on there as well. Does anyone have any questions for us while we are still here?
See, you got a flicker you chose for your photo.
Yeah, that's my flicker. I put that there so you would make the connection. That's my spark bird. That's me. Boom. And Sherry took that photo. So. All right, it's very quiet.
I have just
No questions?
I have a
Oh, yeah, more.
question about the Mary Gray. Is it open? I have a friend who's not part of IAS. Is it open to the public, like the celebration?
Yeah. Brad, do you want to speak to the?
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is the 8th annual event for the Hummingbird Migration Celebration. And so if you go to indianaaudubon.org/events, you can actually see a link to it. It's as low as like, $5-10 a person. And now we're upwards of 500 people will attend at Mary Gray on August 8th. And so there's everything from a lot of family activities. There's a nature hike of some sort of theme. It takes place every half an hour. There's free fishing. There's live birds of prey. And then, of course, the centerpiece is the hummingbird banding. And Nina Rife, who's on our board with IU Kokomo, she's a licensed hummingbird bander. She had volunteers as well that have trained with her over a couple of years, and we'll do a couple sessions. And literally, you can be there, whether you're a participant or a volunteer, and the hummingbird gets, right there in your hand. She'll lay it there in your hand. You can watch it fly away. And so there's a lot of hummingbirds at Mary Gray that make it a really unique site for it. Some of the biggest years that they've been banding full time in the summer, they've banded upwards to 500 hummingbirds at Mary Gray in a year. So just it's an amazing place to see hummingbirds and, of course, to do this event.
And the public can come Friday and Saturday?
The event is just on Saturday. Friday is just kind of our setup day. We're volunteers, we're there. The event is 9 to 4 on that Saturday, the 8th. And it also ties with a silent auction that's also available on site that you can participate in.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Any other questions?
Even better, you can camp. Even the night before, be first one in line. And a lot of volunteers will use Mary Gray's campground, both as an opportunity just on their own and then as they're volunteering. I've spent many a nights in the campground listening to the owls calling.
I've heard the stars at Mary Gray are also amazing. So
Yeah,
would
kind
be
of.
one.
It's almost worth mentioning. This year, for the, I mean, we're not timing like the exact first year meteor shower. Some years we're a little closer. We're just a couple days off from the actual peak, and we will have a telescope out there that evening. So anyone that comes to the Hummingbird event and wants to stick around into the evening hours, the Kearns will be bringing Amy Kearns will be bringing her scope with her husband and Noah, and they will have that set up, and they'll be hopefully doing a little stargazing out there that night. A free
Amazing.
volunteer thing, you guys know about it.
See, insider information. Another benefit of being a
Don't just
volunteer.
stop.
So pass that on to your friends. Say, come volunteer with us. You get insider info.
We probably still have moon pies from the last eclipse available.
Oh, yeah.
They'll never go bad.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming today and being here with us. We are happy to have you. Keep your eyes out for our next Flock Talk. There will be another one. It'll be on something different. So we're going to switch it up every time, and we will always record it so that way you can check it out. If you can't attend, you can check it out later. But please let us know if you have any questions later, but we look forward to seeing you at your next time you volunteer.
Thanks,
Have
everybody.
a good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, thanks.